Are you wondering how you can have exponential growth in business or how you can have exponential growth in your personal life? You're asking the wrong question. The right question is who, not how. In this episode, we're going to review the best-selling book, Who, Not How, and we're going to break it down. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Control and Compound with Darren Mitchell. I'm your host, and joining me today, as always, is Christina Wyatt. Christina, excited for this one?
Yes, I'm excited too, Darren. This is a great book. I can't wait. Can't wait to get talking about it. Before we get started, though, I am going to remind everybody, if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, please make sure you subscribe and leave that 5-star review. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you always know when new content is coming out. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Control and Compound on Instagram and TikTok.
All right, Christina, let's jump right into it. I know you were super excited when you read this book, and we've already changed some things at work at the office, and then some things just clicked. But tell me why you like this book so much.
I feel like it's a game changer, right? Like it really is a mind shift when you sit down to read it. So Dan Sullivan wrote this book, but he didn't actually write it, right? He had his Who write the book, which I think is pretty neat that he definitely lives by. He lives by what he says. But it's a whole focus. And I know myself, I've asked myself lots of times, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get this task done? How am I going to do this? And when you start asking yourself who, it really does broaden the horizons. And I think that's what the book did for me. It gave me a new perspective on life personally and professionally. Like it really opens your eyes going through this.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know who Dan Sullivan is, you can Google him. Dan is founder of the Strategic Coach, which is the largest coaching program in the world for entrepreneurs. And he's worked with, I think, tens of thousands of entrepreneurs through the years. I'm actually a member of Strategic Coach, so I'm exposed to some of this stuff. It's a great program, but you can Google Dan. But again, this is not just for entrepreneurs. This is for people in their personal life, in their work life. It's just fantastic. So let's do a quick overview of the book, Christina, and then kind of break it down what we thought were the key concepts, and then we'll relate some of our personal growth stories that we've used this for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will mention his Who is Dr. Benjamin Hardy, right? And he did a very good job writing this book and really bringing the message to life. Okay, overview of the book. Finding the right who to help you accomplish your goals. This is like the whole message of the book. This is it. This is the message. Now it breaks it down very nicely. But if he starts with a great story. Darren, I know you wanted to share this one.
So I huge Michael Jordan fan. I love Michael Jordan, greatest player of all time. Don't mess with me if you don't. Michael Jordan, he's the GOAT. So they talk about Michael Jordan when he came into the NBA, came to the Bulls. He was the best basketball player in the NBA after first or second year. And guess how many championships that won him? 0. Because he couldn't do it by himself. They couldn't even make the playoffs. They couldn't get through the first round. So the Bulls organization said, well, okay, we have the greatest talent perhaps of all time, but it's not enough. We need another who. So they brought in Scottie Pippen. So now they had Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan, and all of a sudden the team got incredibly better. Michael Jordan got better, everyone got better, but they still couldn't win. So again, you've got two of the greatest basketball players playing on the same team, and you're not enough. Well, what did they do next? Well, then they brought Phil Jackson in, the coach. And Phil was just brilliant basketball mind, and he changed their offense to this triangle offense. So they were moving around fast, and there was freeing these guys up to shoot. And then with that, they went on to win, 6 championships and just legendary success and all the Michael Jordan accolades that have happened through the years. But it all goes back to Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player of all time, but that wasn't enough without the right who's in place. And I thought, holy cow, if Michael Jordan needs a couple who's, I think we could all use a couple who's. So I love that introduction to the story. And we've handed out the book to several clients, and the feedback has just been phenomenal.
Yeah, it's definitely a change of thinking when you're looking at it. And he goes into, from an overview standpoint, he goes into collaboration with others. Instead of saying how, we say who, those types of things. So I think we should break it down a little bit more, exactly kind of our favorite spots in the book and what kind of hit home.
Yeah, I I like that rugged individualist myth they talk about, where I'm not going to crap on men here, but I find men sometimes even worse is, don't ask for help, don't need directions, or think they can do it all themselves, and that's instilled in some of us. And Dan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy really talk about just let that go, and don't be afraid to ask for help. If you ask for help or you find another who, that's going to make you better. It's going to make the situation better. So when you get a problem, don't say how do I fix this? Who can fix this? But letting go of that, you can do it all yourself because you can't work 10 times harder. You need who's to grow.
Yeah, and it's hard to get past that because we were taught that, right? When you look back at school, everything was a competition. Like you were trying to get the higher marks than the person next to you, and you were trying to do it, on your own. You were doing your quizzes, your exams on your own, and you were working towards it. And I don't, it's not taught in school. We talk about a lot of things that aren't taught in school, and this is a big one. Like I think, a lot of high school students should be reading this book. Like if I would have read it sooner, I think that would have been a big help in my life overall on both sides, right? So it's not just a guy thing. I think it's really a missing piece in what we're teaching our children and our kids. Like it's something that if you can learn quick, the quicker you learn this, the better, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we could have a whole series of podcasts on what's wrong with the education system.
Well, we're not going to do that.
But let's not go down that. And then the other one, and this is another strategic coach concept that's been around for a while. It's called your unique ability. And your unique ability is just something that you have talent and ability to do, and you shine when you do that. And I want to go through just sort of 6 tips to sort of identify your unique ability. Number 1, it's you love to do this everywhere, not just in business, but you love doing this, whatever that is. Okay. Number 2, it shines in many different situations and opportunities. Okay, so it's not just at the office or not just at home. It could be in a conversation with friends or whatever it is you're doing. People are like, oh, and you feel good when you use this skill, and it's factory installed. It's not one of those things going, oh, wait a minute, I have to use my unique ability to figure out this problem, or I have to use my unique ability in this situation. It's just natural to you. And when you start going through this process and you figure out what you're really good at and what you like doing, it's going to come to you naturally, just like your unique ability. And then you'll notice too, when you find your unique ability, that other people gravitate towards you because of your unique ability in those situations. Okay, so I'm going to share a little personal stuff here. My unique ability. Okay, so I was fortunate enough to figure out my unique ability at age early 20s, 22, 23, 24. I was working right out of my MBA. I think I'd hired in Halifax, and then I went to Toronto, and I was back in Halifax working for the same gentleman that hired me, Ian McKnight, and God rest his soul. He was a great man. He said to me one day, he goes, Darren, you just have this unique way of taking a complicated thing and making it easy to understand for people. And the second he said that, my brain just went click, and like it was like the dominoes fell, and I was like, well, that's the way I've been my entire life. And I looked back and I was like, well, that is like, and that's going back a few years now. So now it's my entire working career from my first job to where we are today, and my unique ability hasn't changed. And it's something I love doing. So I don't care if we're out with friends and they're trying to understand something that's going on in the world, they'll ask me, and I just kind of have a way of explaining in an easy to understand fashion. And it's the same with complicated stuff in the financial world or the insurance world or the business world. I just love doing that. It's natural. I don't think about it. And then it's like, well, maybe I should spend a little more time doing that kind of stuff instead of trying to fill out some paperwork. And thank you for not laughing when I mentioned filling out paperwork, Christina, because that is
not your unique ability.
Not my unique ability. That is my unique weakness. Anyway. But yeah, so that's my unique ability. What else about unique ability did you pick up in the book, Christina?
Yeah, so he talks about building out a team of individuals with unique abilities, right? If you can have people on your team that have unique abilities that are better, that can do paperwork, not, that weakness that you can't do, if they are really good at doing paperwork, if they're really good at organization, their unique ability kind of complements your unique ability, right? And building those people out in your team is so important. So I thought that was incredible for insight when you think and when you're looking for your who's, because we know we need them. Once you start reading the book, you're like, yeah, absolutely, I need who's. But the next step is, okay, but who are they? Who am I, who do I want to talk to? Who do I bring on the team? What makes sense? So if you can identify somebody's unique ability by speaking with them, learning more about them, and you find that they're going to complement what you're doing, you can build a pretty big powerhouse, just like, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Like that's what you can do in your business if you can find that team that builds up those unique abilities. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I love that idea of team, right? And again, that's what we're trying to do at Control and Compound. We all have our unique abilities, but it's like, well, if someone in the office is great at paperwork and great at doing that and great at organizing, well, great, they should be doing that, and I should be doing what I'm great at, and you should be doing what you're great at, and trying to identify so everyone's doing what they're great at, and that's what makes great organizations, great relationships, great people. So I like that, and then they got into this impact filter, and ironically, I just in my coaching program had done some impact filters in the last couple of months, part of the coaching program. And Christina, it's funny. We'll tell you the real story. So, Christina, we're making notes for this, and she had put a quote in, and she goes, "Oh, I really like this quote," and I happen to have my strategic coach book here. And the quote that Christina read from the book and really enjoyed is actually on the front cover of my my folder here. And it's from Dan Sullivan, and it says, "Our eyes only see and our ears only hear what our brain is looking for."
Thanks for listening so far. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you always know when new content is coming out. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, please leave a 5-star rating and leave a review and subscribe. And if you are interested in learning more, please visit our website at controlandcompound.com to sign up for a free education session with one of our wealth coaches.
Okay? So our eyes only see and our ears only hear what our brain is looking for. So when you start looking for the right who, all of a sudden the whole world opens up to you. And Christina, we've had some exciting times at Control and Compound, and we've learned we're really not good at several things. And we've spent a lot of money, time, effort to learn that we're not good at them. And one of them, Christina, is remember we bought this expensive coaching program on how to create online ads, and
it was a funnel. I remember the funnel well.
Funnel?
Yeah.
Oh man, the work, the notes, the hours, trying to come up with like ads that we thought people would like, and
I was attempting to build websites at that time. Like, I'll tell you, I am not the IT team. I can definitely not build a website. And I was attempting to do it back then. Not good.
So we spend all this money, we do all this work, and we put out these ads, and all of a sudden, like, oh, we got one view. And we're not always the sharpest knives, but we eventually, after a little while, go, wait a minute. We're not good at this, and this isn't what we're good at. And, and this was before we read the book, or I was part of the coaching program. But again, we figured it out that, like, well, we're not good at this. Why don't we go find someone that is good at that? And then that's when we hired our first marketing person, and we said, we interviewed a bunch and said, let's use this person. And that person was phenomenal for us at the time. Now we've gone through several, and we got a rock star one now, or a couple of them. But it was just looking back on the time, money, and effort that we wasted trying to do something that we're not good at, that wasn't our unique ability at all. If we had figured out earlier that we need the right who, then we could have focused on growing the business, focused on our unique abilities, focused on helping clients, et cetera. So Just sharing a failure, but a failure that really turned into success because you learn from it. Nothing's a failure if you learn.
Exactly. And one thing we definitely did learn is we don't hesitate now. The moment that we know we need it, and it's like, so we don't even try it anymore. We're like, we know we need somebody else. We've got to go find that person and get them on the team, because there's lots of people out there that enjoy doing these things and they're really good at them. Why wouldn't you want the best working on something for you, right?
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, this podcast, another prime example. So we decided to start a podcast. We thought it was great, and then we're like, well, we know we can't do ads. Chances are we're probably not good at podcasts either. And the idea of editing a podcast and putting it out on the right platforms and stuff, it was overwhelming. And then, it took us a while till it was, well, wait a minute. Why don't we just go find a who specializes in that, who's great at it? And we interviewed a bunch of firms, and we were lucky enough to end up with Mark Boudreau of BNV Media. Who does,
Shout out, Mark.
There you go, Mark.
Killing it.
Spoiler alert, we don't edit these. We do this rough content, and then we just basically say, hey, Mark, here you go. And then it just happens, right? So Mark is our who when it comes to the podcasting and a lot of the marketing stuff. So
Which brings us, and it brings us to like the collaboration piece, right?
Yes.
It's that collaboration. And he has a lot of the book is written. We talk about who, but he talks a lot about collaboration and not hesitating. So he's got that 80% rule. I love that. And you know what? I've probably been bad for not doing it, where you're holding in an idea because you want it to be perfect before you throw it out to the team and throw it out to the group to get their feedback. You want to make sure it's perfect. Don't wait until it's perfect. Wait till it's 80% there, throw it out, get the feedback, and then go from there, because that feedback that you're going to get is going to take you to the 100%. It's going to take you to 110. So many times I know I've 100% done it where I've waited until something was perfect, where I could have had it done in half the time and better, because now I've got the collaboration of others joining in to help with these ideas. And we do that every week, right? When we meet with the wealth coaches, every second week we all get together and we collaborate and we make sure that we're sharing these ideas. And instead of waiting until we hit that 100%, we're throwing it out there now and getting feedback from others. And I think that's super. I love that 80% rule. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. Like I read the part about Dan Sullivan, and he goes, I wish I'd learned that earlier. And again, when someone that you respect and is as successful as someone like Dan Sullivan going, well, what do you mean? He messed up and he didn't figure it out, and now he's sharing what he did. And he was like, yeah, I have a great idea now, and then I just throw it out there, and all of a sudden all the feedback, collaboration, the idea ends up being better than I would have got to my end and way faster. So if you want to accomplish your goals, find some who's, collaborate, and would you rather, even it costs you money, you share revenue and stuff. Would you rather 80% of a massive number, or 70% of a massive number, or 50% of a massive number, or 100% of a really tiny number?
Or zero. Really. You don't get it done.
Or you lose money, you go bankrupt, and,
But that is one thing I think that prevents a lot of people from finding their who's, is they think of adding people to their team as a cost. They think it's going to be a cost, when in reality, it's an investment. Every single person that is on the Control and Compound team is an investment. And I wouldn't be able to do my day. I wouldn't, on all levels, every single one of them make the day happen. And they're an investment. They are not a cost. People adding to your team and adding your who's, that's something that you've got to get out of your head. And I would say that a lot of people probably struggle with it. They try to keep everything in-house because they don't want to spend that extra. What they don't realize is that they'll double, triple their income once they add the right people, because they're going to make it better.
Yeah. I mean, going back 20 years ago when I first started when I left the corporate world and became a financial advisor, it was just like a lot of financial advisors 20 years ago. I didn't have an assistant. I didn't have anything. And then it was like, why am I wasting my time doing this? Back to paperwork.
How did the paperwork get done?
Can you imagine how bad the paperwork was those first few years?
I don't have to.
So I think it was about 6 months in, I was like, well, I'm wasting a lot of time on paperwork and I really hate it. And I started with my first assistant, and that was, again, same idea. But we've been talking really about business, Christina, but it's not just your business life that this who is important, right? It's your personal life too.
Yep. Absolutely. Like adding the people to your personal life. Well, you've already got who's, right? Because there's family members that are already there and making things happen. Because I know if I didn't have my family, things would not happen. They'd fall apart. So I've got my who's that way. But then thinking bigger is, when you're complaining that you're not getting to the gym or you're not exercising, that's a perfect example of when you might want to hire a personal trainer. A lot of people say it's a cost. Well, it's a cost if you think of it in that light, but it's really an investment in yourself. Like your health is your wealth. We know that. So if you want to better yourself, bring in someone that knows how to do it. Because if I go to the gym without someone showing me what to do, it's not it's not getting anywhere anyways. I'm just paying a gym membership I'm not using. So that's what happens when you don't have the right people involved, right? So using the personal life, a personal trainer would be one. Cleaner at your house, if that saves time for you so that you can go out and you can work, those couple hours, or you can spend time with your family, that's a big who. That's a big help, like a helper in my life, like having the ability to have those couple extra hours, whether it be for work or whether it be for family, is super important. So these who's are everywhere, not just professional, personal as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, we understand not everyone's going to be able to go get 100 who's, and we don't have 100 who's.
No.
But just those things that you really are eating your time up and you don't enjoy, if you can basically pay someone to do that, and it frees up your time for either enjoyment or to make way more money. Like, again, when you free up time, you can make more money. Or quality time with your family. Like, what is that worth? Like, we have a boat, and for years I'd have to have a boat trailer, and then I have to get it insured every year, and then it was a pain in the butt to pull the boat out, put the boat in, had to figure out where to store it, had to get it serviced, and I was just ended up spending so much time at the beginning and the end of the season. And now we have a guy who just delivers our boat, puts it in, lets us know it's there, picks it up at the end of the year, takes it out, services it, stores it, and that time freedom that I've been able to acquire. Well, what do I do with that? Well, I get to spend more time with my family, more time doing the things I enjoy, and maybe some more time working. Depends who you talk to, what I do with my extra time. Some people think I'm spending too much time with the family. Family thinks I'm spending too much time at work. So it's a fine balance, but I can help make that balance a manageable or a desirable amount if I can free up the stuff that's not one of those two things that I'm focused on, business and family.
Yeah, there is a story in the book where he talks about if you've got the money to fix it, it's no longer a problem. And I think that's a good way to think of it. Sometimes people make, people make, big deals over things that they have no control of. How am I going to fix this? How am I going to do it? And they don't, if you've got the money that can fix the problem, you've got the freedom of time, which then creates the money. Because what's going to happen if you create the time, you're going to have the ability to create the money, which is what's fixing the problem anyways in the big picture, right?
Yeah. And I thought it was really interesting in the book too. They talked about just because someone is your who, you can also be their who. So I thought that was really interesting. I think of the real estate, right? Like I know a lot of people that have done joint ventures, right? So like I don't have the experience, I'd like to get one under my belt. So you find a working partner, and you come up with the money, and the working partner is going to handle it and coordinate it because that's what they do. They're an expert at that. But what do you gain? Well, you gain the experience of, so that's how you do this. That's how you manage the tenants. That's the way you do property management, or you hire a property management. Oh, and then after, a while of doing this, maybe one or two deals, you're like, oh, well, really, now they were your who, you were their who. They needed the money, you needed the experience, you're each other's who. So even at work, when you think of, the people at Control and Compound that work in the office, we're like, they're our who's, but we're also their who's because we're giving them opportunities they may not see elsewhere. So again, it's got to be a win-win situation. But if you can get everyone doing what they're good at, your results are just going to multiply exponentially.
Absolutely. No, it's a great point, Darren.
All right, Christina, wrap up. What are we missing?
We went through some good points. Just want to let everybody know that it is, you can get this book and wherever books are sold. I know it's on Amazon, Kindle, all those places. Make sure that we shout that out. Go out and read it. If you haven't, 100% go get. I know we talked a lot about it today, but there is way more in there. So make sure that you go out and you read it. There's a lot of great stories, which is my favorite when you're reading the books and you're hearing real life stories through it that really apply to real life. It's nice to read. So definitely a good read. If you haven't, go out and check it out.
Okay. Before we go here, I've got a favor to ask. This wasn't a typical podcast for us. We didn't talk about infinite banking. We didn't talk about real estate investing. We didn't have a guest on talking about real estate. So the favor is, can you just let us know if this is something you'd be interested in seeing more of? And if so, we can do more of that. And if not, we'll do some other stuff. But we'd just really appreciate it. Just, are we on the right track here? Do you guys want to see more of that? When you're watching and listening to us. So just leave a comment and just say, more or like it, just to let us know that we're going the right approach. Or even better, if you could check out our Christina, what do we call it?
Our new community.
See, I needed a who.
Our new community.
Check out the new community, and it's called...
It's Infinite Banking for Real Estate Investors and Business Owners on Facebook.
Yeah, so we've created a community trying to build real estate investors, business owners, infinite bankers all together to share ideas and share some stuff to grow your business, grow your personal life exponentially. So join the community. Let us know a comment in there, or leave a comment. Leave a comment in wherever platform you're listening to say, great, like to see more of it. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening to this podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, please leave us a 5-star review and subscribe. And if you want more information, check out our website, controllandcompound.com, and you can sign up for an education session with one of our wealth coaches.